both. Now we're going to start with immigration. And, well, a little piece of video, because last week, as some people will have seen, Matthew Rycroft, the Permanent Secretary, former Permanent Representative to the United Nations for the UK, but the current Permanent Secretary for the Home Office, was giving evidence to the Home Affairs Select Committee, and he was being asked about immigration. So let's have a look at this.
Hi guys, just one question from me. Put foreign offenders aside and Albanians aside, just forget about those numbers. How many people travelling on small boats that's been refused asylum have been sent to a third country or back to their own country over the past 3 years?
I don't think we have. I
think we'll write to the committee with those numbers, Mr. Anderson.
That's staggering. That's actually
okay,
then let's do it for the last year.
I don't have a number for non-Albanian, non-FNOs.
Perhaps they might be able to help you.
Let's do last week then.
Do we have any figures about anything?
No? Yes.
In the last 6 months, just how many in the last 6 months?
As Simon said, there are charter flights and other ways of doing returns the whole time, constantly, and we can give you whatever timeline
and Albanians aside, like. People who are coming here who are being refused asylum, because I'm sure there's a few. How many was sent back last month?
Have you got incoming?
We'll write to you with those numbers, Mr. Anderson.
I'm sorry, Chair, but I find it absolutely staggering that the big boss hasn't got a clue, not just on this question, but nearly every other question we've asked today. Why is that?
We've got that. I think Mr. Ridley's looking for the numbers, and we will send them to you.
Okay, that's me done, Chair. Thank you.
So quite incredible. So he has now decided to write on a number of different issues, and if we bring this one on screen, this is about migration and the Rwanda deal in particular. So there's various information now coming out of Matthew Rycroft, because he was asked in that select committee about the cost of Rwanda and so on as well. So let's just have a quick look at this. He's saying here, at the evidence sessions on the 29th of November and the 4th of December, respectively, you and your committees asked me about payments to the UK government, had made to the government of Rwanda for the purposes of migration and economic development partnership. As I said then, the total the government paid in the financial year 22-23 was £140 million, bearing in mind that nobody has been sent to Rwanda yet, and of course, huge amounts of money have also been spent on the court case. But he went on to say, ministers have agreed that I can disclose now the payments so far in 23-24 financial year. There has been one payment of £100 million paid in April this year. In the 2024-2025 financial year, we anticipate another payment of 50 million as part of the ETIF, as agreed with the government of Rwanda. So that's something around £300 million in total so far, both in the past and this year, and then next year as well, for something that hasn't actually happened yet. This is, of course, the narrative that the UK government is pushing, and the focus is all on small boat arrivals. And as we showed on Wednesday's programme, that, of course, is the smallest proportion of people coming into the country. But they're saying that small boat arrivals are down by a third, that raids on illegal workers are up by nearly 70%. Of course, you can make a statement about being up by nearly 70% if you're basically not doing very much. Then adding a little bit appears to be a lot when you put it in terms of a percentage, and so on. And they're saying over 22,000 illegal migrants returned is what they're claiming. Now, Richard Littlejohn in the Mail was asking a question: why are our Tory MPs prioritising illegal migrants over British people? And I just wanted to highlight this. He's saying, so if it's safe for an English woman, he was talking about the fact that Rwanda is a great destination to go on holiday and so on, if you want to go to see the wildlife. He says, so if it's safe for an English woman of a certain age, for Hart and Hilda from Hemel Hempstead and Hank and Hillary from Hot Springs, Arkansas, why is it unsafe for Kurdish gangsters and suspected Islamist terrorists who've entered Britain illegally? So that is, of course, the question, because if we look at the standard here, we've got to remember that Rwanda said a year ago or so that it could only bring 200 migrants from the UK under the deportation scheme. The original agreement was only for 1,000 migrants. So this is a huge amount of money to be spending on a program that could at best be dealing with 1,000 migrants, when they're saying that they have already, or the claim from the government is that they've already removed 22,000 illegal migrants from the country. So what's this really all about? And of course, we've got to look at it from this point of view as well. The BBC reporting that the Home Office had said more than 17,000 migrants from small boats are missing. So I'm just going to ask the question. I'm not saying this is the answer, but in the past, as I think Vanessa can confirm, migrants or people have been moved from country to country to take part in conflict. And if we're moving people that are viewed as being criminals or young men or of fighting age and so on into Rwanda, Vanessa, very briefly, at a time when we are looking at the Sahel becoming an increasingly radicalized area with increasing conflict right across the Sahel, this looks a bit like trafficking people into a country where you might want them to be used for a particular purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just exploitation of refugees to serve a purpose, to create more refugees. That's the bottom line, isn't it?
Well, pursue a purpose in a region of the planet where you want to increase chaos, perhaps as well. Now, just sticking with the immigration issue, of course, one of the big immigration problems of the last decade or so has been grooming gangs. And GB News reporting here that the Rotherham abuse survivor who won the court case in March this year has now received the right to claim to force the sale of the rapist's home in order to claim her winnings from the court case. And this, of course, is a very positive development. But the point that we've been trying to make for quite some time, of course, is that the issue of grooming gangs is not wholly an immigration issue. It's much broader than that. And if we simply focus on the immigration issue, we're either not dealing with the problem, actually we're letting down the broader victims of sexual abuse and child sexual abuse in particular. So this came out today, I think, yesterday, from Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, saying the report is called An Inspection on the Effectiveness of the Police and Law Enforcement Bodies' Response to Group-Based Child Sexual Exploitation in England and Wales. So what they're basically talking about here is the fact that it isn't possible to actually identify that any particular demographic is responsible for this. So what they're saying is that in towns such as Rotherham in South Yorkshire and Rochdale and Greater Manchester, the known offenders were predominantly of South Asian or Pakistani descent. But in April 2023 in Walsall, Operation Satchel saw 21 people convicted of a range of child sexual abuse offences. All those convicted were white. In December 2020, the Home Office published a paper that considered the characteristics of group-based child sexual exploitation. An accompanying literature review produced in October 2020 noted that the media has given much attention to the model of offending involving an Asian perpetrator and a white victim. But both papers reached the conclusion that it isn't possible to state whether offenders can be linked to group-based child sexual exploitation based on their ethnicity. It also stated that it's likely that no one community or culture is uniquely predisposed to offending. So I'm not saying that any community should be given a pass on this by any means, just that the issue is much broader than just immigration and so on. So I just want to put this image up of the Common Purpose Effect from the UK Column website here. If you want to read a little bit more of the background to this, please do have a look at it. Because we have been talking about children in the care of various councils around the country, disappearing from council care into grooming gangs and so on. This is a much bigger issue than just the immigration issue. So let's move